Welcome to the Modern Stock Car Cup Tour. We kick off season number 3 with the running of the American Airlines 500 from Daytona International Speedway. I'm your play-by-play commentator, Dan Wilkins, as we have a 42-car field on hand for the 60-lap race. I gotta tell you, this is going to be a really, really interesting event. Because of how the qualifying field was constructed, it's a little bit different and certainly unorthodox from how it's usually done. Usually you just have all the cars that are attempting to race, have them run a few laps, and see who has the fastest time. It's pretty cut and dry. However, this is a little bit different. You might have noticed how we did the rookie dash, and the top 17 drivers made it into the main show. Well, the drivers that you usually see on screen right here, those are the drivers who competed in the rookie dash. You can see Logan Thronberg and World Ultra. That's row 1 for you. They were the 1 and 2 finishers in the rookie dash from Friday night. The rest of everybody, besides the 17, were the drivers who competed last year, and it's in their, it's who they, or where they finished in the point standings, and it's reversed. So the champion of this season, Ryan Adema, is starting 42nd, and then you have Nolo Hamilton, who finished second in the points, 41st, and then you have 98 of Darian Arnsdorf, Chase Buck, and then Patrick Starr. That's your champions lottery, and then so on and so forth. You have the drivers who were competing last season, all the way up to the 01 of Charlotte Kelly, because you can see there's the 94 of Adeline Galvin, and it was essentially in reverse. And even though Galvin only ran a few races, I think she even ran only one race, which was a fill-in for a suspended driver at Lime Rock Park. So everything from Charlotte Kelly up to the pole sitter are the rookies, and anything from Galvin back are the veterans, including Richard Birmingham. You might not have seen him much, but he was the Season 1 Daytona 500 winner. He was the first ever race winner in this league, and he's coming back for a third season. Now, albeit, he's ran past 2 for part-time stints. However, this year, he's looking to run full-time. Hopefully, he ends up fulfilling that and ends up at least maybe even winning a race and having some good success out there on a track. He is starting 20th today on the outside of row 10, so we'll have to see how he does in this event. But as we said, our pole sitter today is the number 38 car of Logan Thronberg. He's the native of Tampa, Florida, who for a while has been trying to crack his way into real racing, and he's doing that this year with some Legends racing and some of those, older bomber cars. Just like how Ryan Adema, who's starting last, is a sprint car driver. And we also have, I believe, 23 of Hunter Walker, who races late models up in Canada. So it's a fun thing all around, I gotta say. But we also have some fun things all around here at Daytona International Speedway. We're going to have 60 laps of racing today, which is just a little bit shorter than what you're used to when we see the ARCA race, the Lucas Oil 200, and just as many cars. 42 cars on the grid today. It is something to behold here at Daytona, I gotta tell you. But with that being said, we just have about 15 more seconds until we're getting ready for the driver command to kick off the season, kick off the brand new year. Let's look in at the number 89 of John McFadden for the driver command.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
Nice evening, long day. Gonna be a lot of adjustments. Gonna be a lot of fun, guys. This is a real race here. We're gonna have a blast tonight. I can't wait to get out there and get going.
Logan Thronberg, the pole sitter, is having problems on pit lane. He's not getting going. He's gonna have to be pushed. So Logan Thronberg, this is not gonna be good. He's having trouble leaving pit lane. He's trying to get a car going. I think his engine won't fire. Thronberg's engine won't fire. Everybody's trying to get ahead here. You can see there's World Ultra and Purab Srivastava all the way up there. I think they finally might be getting going because everybody's going to pass them. Logan Thronberg, the pole sitter, is on pit lane. His engine did not fire when the driver command happened. His engine didn't fire, and now, what a wacky start. But this is going to be an even wackier restart because there's John McFadden, who's supposed to be starting third. He's all the way back there. He's got to move his way up. Although now he's brake checking. What race officials are going to do is they are going to throw a manual yellow flag to make sure that everything is good. At least that's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to throw a manual yellow flag so that they can get everybody back up to speed. Because here comes Sam Joseph flying in there. This is going to move up, or it is actually going to, it's going to put everybody in sort of their spot, because it's going to move John McFadden up to first. But they need to give everybody some time to roll back up, so looks like, let's see here. See, this is what they're going to do right here. They're going to have them roll, and then they're going to have them stop. So what a weird way to start the race. We're going to start it under caution, because we needed to give everybody some time to get back up to the front of the field, and look at what happened. Now we have 4-wide pace lap racing. I gotta tell you, this is... Some of these drivers, they're brand new. They've never raced on Daytona before, and I guess in this capacity. Also, Logan Thronberg is still on pit lane. I can imagine he's not happy, because he is now going to be several laps down, and his engine didn't even fire on the driver command. So now that everybody's single file and working their way out, we're going to take a look at the starting lineup on lap 1 under caution. So on the new pole is John McFadden, followed by Werrell Daltrip, and then number 99. Then you have Sam Joseph and Purat Srivastava, Don Wilkins and John Reese, followed by Callan Fleming and Zay Williams, Yuri Nihimi, and Jesse Owens Jr. That's your top 10. And I'm going by a different sort of format here, because they're not in rows anymore. They're single file. You have Brandon Allen, Hunter Walker, Daniel Rivera, Logan Williams, and Charlotte Kelly. That's your top 15. And then for 16 through 20, you have Jackson Snyder, Adeline Galvin, Riley Wedge, Eli Sasak, and Richard Birmingham. And for 21 through 25, you have Will Fasano, Molly Fleming, Nelson Reeves, Amelia Nielsen, and Kyle Driscoll. And for 26 through 30, you have Chris Ducopolo, Brennan Wilmington, Dan Wilkins, Armin Salvador, and Ian Korov. And you have for 31 through 42, we're just going to roll through Luis Aguilar, Sarah Fang, Creed Daniel, Santiago Alvarez, Carlos Rex, Jacob Thibodeau, Gary Arnsdorf, Patrick Starr, Nolo Hamilton, Chase Buck, and there is Ryan Adema, your Season 2 champion. So I guess when they threw the caution flag, they're just doing a few extra pace laps. So it's a little bit... it's a little bit interesting, but John McFadden's got to be really happy. John McFadden has to be extremely happy with what his situation is, because he's just like, okay, you know, I just got to go from third to first because the guy who I was supposed to be starting behind is no longer competitive because he's got engine problems. That's got to be a blessing of a lifetime, especially for a guy who was supposed to be running as the second man to a two-car team. It was supposed to be shift racing with Anthony Elliott piloting the number 72 Chevrolet, and then John McFadden in the 89. The only problem was that John McFadden was left all by himself because Elliott just gave the team ownership all the way to McFadden, and he sort of abandoned it. So he had to fight, he had to fend for himself, and eventually qualified on the pole for the Rookie Dash, finished third in that Rookie Dash, in that 30-lap event on the Daytona backstretch. And then he's now starting first because of a, I don't know what you want to call it, a discrepancy, or an inconsistency, or whatever you want to call it. But McFadden has to be so happy with himself because of the fact that just by sheer accident, because of the fact that the 38 had engine problems, and he's now back out on the racetrack, he's going to be one lap down, which means that when we go back to the restart, he'll be lining up on the inside of McFadden, but he'll be a lap down, and he'll have to work to get his position back. especially for these rookies as well. The advantage of having them start up front is that they're going to, in one way or another, they're going to have a better chance of having like an underdog win and starting off the season right. Because you have rookies who are driving for high-profile teams. You have Callan Fleming and a 13 car who's both with Dan Wilkins Racing. You have Jesse Owens Jr., who is with Adamo Racing Enterprises. That's a good team. You have Logan Williams and Hunter Walker, who are both with the All-Star Speed Team. And you also have Daniel Rivera with Pacific Racing. And you even have Adeline Galvin, who's not a rookie, but now restarting 16th with Lime Rock Motorsports. And then you have Riley Wedge, who started the last 3 races of the season, but was an MSCSS contender before then. He's in 17th. So it's a good spot for these guys to contend, and it's a good spot for them to, really stand out. Because, think about it. When you have somebody like, or it looks like Logan Williams pitted, so I take that back. He is a rookie, but he's now restarting 41st. So Ryan's getting 2 extra spots as a result of that. And there is Logan Thronberg slowing up. He's probably going to line up behind Williams, although if there's anything that I would suspect, it's that as these drivers on the lead lap are in turns 3 and 4 now, I would assume we would go green next time by, and he'd probably line up next to McFadden. Because I don't think there's any cars who are a lap down. Yeah, Williams is on the lead lap. He just pitted. If I'm not mistaken, he pitted. Unless he didn't. Oh, I see here. So he did pit from his position. Okay, so he was in 14th and then he pitted. Okay. That makes a little bit more sense now. So Logan Williams was on pit lane, and as I thought, yes, green flag next time by. An unusual way to start the American Airlines 500. Started off with an immediate caution that is intentional because everybody needed to catch up, and I guess he gave them a little bit extra time, but it also gives these drivers a little bit extra time to figure out their grooves and also talk some strategy with their crew chiefs and some spotters, because you know that, think about it from a sprint car perspective. Every lap that you're under caution, you're essentially using 2 laps of fuel because you're not going full speed. If you're going on green flag conditions, 1 lap of fuel is 1 lap of fuel, plain and simple. But when you're under these green flag or yellow flag conditions, it's a little bit more difficult to conserve fuel, especially when you're running at 70 miles per hour when you should be running 200. It's less than half the speed. So for these drivers who are probably thinking in their heads, okay, my fuel window when we were supposed to start normally is 35 laps. Is it 25? Is it 20? Is it 30? You don't know. Because most of these drivers have not had a situation like this where they had to go under caution immediately. Even in the Season 1 event, the only caution was on lap 28. And that was because of a spin between Jeffrey McClintock and Larry Barker. I believe Ben Lloyd was caught up in that as well. And in Season 2, there were 3 cautions, but the first one didn't come out until lap number... Ooh, excuse me if I'm wrong here. Lap number 9? So, they might have been involved in something similar like this, but a lot of the drivers, I'd say more than half the drivers who competed in last year's race aren't competing in this year's race, even if they aren't considered a rookie. So what do you say? Take number 2. Starting the American Airlines 500 a little bit late, John McFadden is your new leader. As we come back to the stripe into the restart zone, lap number 5, we have a green flag. I don't think Thronberg is going to hold up the field. I think that because of the situation, I think he's going to compete with the rest of the field. And he's going to fight to get himself back on the lead lap, because if another caution comes out, then it could very well mean that he gets his lap back and he ends up going to the rear of the field, which at Daytona you can jump from the rear of the field to the front in an instant. But we're going to see how it plays out. As you can see, Thronberg is in the middle lane trying to help himself, but the 48 was a little bit held up there. There's the 99, Coca-Cola Ford. Gonna make a pass on John McFadden on the inside here. As you can see, there's some guys that are preferring to run the outside lane. There's Sam Joseph in the 4 and Daniel Rivera in the 20, who we've seen run that outside line. And now Purab Srivastava. Oh, Purab gets loose. He got really loose in the corner. He almost spun himself out. And now he slams into the 13. He slams into the 13 side door, and we got a spin down the back. This might be the big one. Right here, right now. This is not good way to start the race. 48 is in it. 46. Santiago, Patrick, Aguilar. Christian Koppel is destroyed. Darian Arnsdorf is as well. And they're all going to try to race it back to the line. It's now the 99, who's your leader on lap number 6. As the big one has happened on the backstretch, and the 7 can't even really get going. Let's take a look at what happened here, since it looked like this was coming from a mile away, because as we saw, there was some really aggressive moves made by the 48, who was running in 3rd. Watch this entering turn number 1. Watch this. He gets really loose. I don't think he had a tire going down or anything. I just think he didn't know where he was going and missed his spot. And then as he's trying to make a move here, he slams into the door of the 13 of Donna Wilkins right there and sends himself up the track. And then he just decides that I'm going to hook the 13 for no reason. Send him into the outside wall. There's the 46 getting hooked by the 23. And chaos ensues. Logan Thronberg got caught up in that. And then, oh man, big hit by the 7 and the 31. That's Christian Koppel and Molly Fleming. I mean, you could see just a whole stack up. Looks like Ryan Adema got through that. I'm going to take a look at some onboard cameras, but still, I'd say at least 10, 15 cars, maybe even 20 cars got really caught up in that, since that is, man. And I'm going to first take a look at the 46 of Callan Fleming, because that was, looks like she didn't hit the inside wall, but made some contact with some other cars out there. She was running in the 6th position at the time of the crash. Let's take a look. Hello everyone. We apologize for any technical difficulties that may have occurred. We're going to be going green again on lap number 10. We had a red flag that had occurred after the caution came out on lap 6. As of this point, 8 drivers are retired from the race, 34 remain. And at this time, World Ultrip and John McFadden are your leaders. And I gotta tell you, I'm a little bit disappointed because of the fact that we've been having so many technical difficulties. Because we want our broadcast to be really darn good, and after a red flag that lasted 45 minutes, we are back at Daytona. Green flag right here, right now. We're back. Hunter Walker's having problems with his car just off the bat. I don't think... Looks like he's just way off the pace. But yeah, something's definitely wrong with his car, and I'm not going to deny that. He's probably going to end up being lap traffic and dead meat in a few laps. There's that 99 car. Oh, they're going to go 4 wide again. Look at this battle. Ryan Adema. Oh, Werrell Daltrip is going to be going to pit lane. What in heaven is happening? So now Werrell's going to pit lane as the leader. Walker's having trouble. And now the field is spreading out because they all got jammed up. And Maybe she's serving a black flag. That would be something that I would assume. Maybe she's serving a black flag. But when she comes off of pit lane, which is not right now, I have no idea. Now she's going to be rolling off the pit lane. Oh boy. Here comes the pack. Right behind her. Here we go. She's out on the track. Can she get up to speed before... No, she can't get up to speed. She's at 140 and these guys are at 190. Hopefully she stays low so everybody can go high. Don't block. I really hope something bad does not happen out of this. We've had this issue before. Especially at Talladega. Oh, Waltrip gets bumped by Richard Birmingham. And now she's got some rear end damage. That was all Birmingham, though. That was all the 69 car right there. And now that splits up the pack. Here comes Sam Joseph with a great run, a slingshot pass on the 89 of John McFadden. And also the ticker on the top, it's a little bit inaccurate. We're on lap number 14 out of 60, but I had to adjust the race so that we could come back from the red flag with 10 last laps. Sam Joseph, your new leader. McFadden starting to fall back because here comes Riley Wedge and Will Fasano. And Fasano's only running a one-off. He's not even running full season. Same with Eli Sasak, who is currently in the 13th position. They're not even running full-time seasons, but they're running near the front, which could mean we could have our first plate race winner be a part-time driver. I mean, we've only had one part-timer win a race before. And that was the number 18 of Jack Husky, who won the second Season 2 race at Homestead, the Lennar 400. And that was a very unusual race, considering that the leader had been black flagged twice. And that was just it was a doozy of a race. Going into 3, now that Cinnamon Coca-Cola car of Riley Wedge. And now Brandon Allen is in the wall. He's going to be falling back. What in heaven's name? So Brandon Allen having some problems after he hit the wall pretty hard coming off of 4 there. Let's take a look. You could see pretty cut and dry. He gets hooked by the 89 and then blasted into the outside wall. Nelson Reeves doesn't make contact and everybody's able to avoid him. But you can imagine, as we have a spin on the back, that's Sarah Feng in the 93, who... Oh, okay, so this is near the back of the pack. Sarah Feng starts to blow up, and then, as she's slowing down, last year's winner, Dan Wilkins, just gets absolutely pounded into the wall, along with that 93 car. That brings out our second caution. Sam Joseph is the leader. Let's pray that nothing bad happens. We're not going to have a red flag, obviously, but there is a little bit of debris on the track, so they might be under caution for a little bit while before. Your current top 10, so we're under caution on lap number 17, is Sam Joseph, Riley Wedge, Jacob Thibodeau, Adeline Galvin, Creed Daniel, John McFadden, Eli Sasak, Santiago Alvarez. That is Will Fasano, and then Amelia Nielsen. A few LRM cars. A few Pacific Racing. Not Pacific Racing. Yeah, Pacific Racing. Because that's Creed Daniel in the 65. He's running in 5th. I mean, a bunch of these guys are on their own teams, because you got Sam Joseph, who's with GMS, along with Christian Coppola, who's out of the race. We have a fair number of cars coming to pit lane, although they're all slowing. Sam Joseph, Adeline Galvin, looks like Chase Buck and Daniel Rivera. They're all going to be in the pits. There's Sam Joseph coming on down. The price is right here at Daytona, I've got to tell you. Oh my goodness. What a weird race to start. If you're just joining us from wherever, I'd like to give you a quick recap. So we started off with the completely normal phenomenon of starting the race under caution because the pole sitter, Logan Thronberg, didn't have his engine fire properly. So he had to stay on the pit lane, and then we had 4 more laps of caution, and then we started off, we went on the restart on lap number 5. We didn't even have a green flag lap of racing until lap number 5. And then, to nobody's surprise, on lap number 6, we had a wreck because Purab Srivastava was just really aggressively driving and slamming into the number 13, which MSCCT officials are investigating the matter and making sure that nothing is remiss, because there have been some bad blood between Dan Wilkins Racing and some other teams as well, including the 29 of Ronnie Martin Racing. But who knows? But MSCCT officials, we're gonna leave it up to them. They are going to be investigating this matter and seeing if any disciplinary actions are necessary, since obviously he was really aggressively driving and trying to get himself to the front and ended up wrecking himself and a lot of the field instead. And that's what caused our 45-minute red flag. So now that Sam Joseph is on pit lane, he should be off pit lane now, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, he's right there. He is in, let's see, he's around the top 20s. But now you have the 85 O'Reilly Wedge, who's in the lead, followed by Thibodeau, Daltrip, Creed Daniel, McFadden, that's your top 5, and then Sasak, Alvarez, Fasano, Nielsen, looks like Donna Wilkins in 13, who was involved in that crash earlier. This is a big rebound for him, because under the red flag, one of the main differences between NASCAR and the MSCCT is that under a red flag, you are allowed to work on your car. You are allowed to work on your car as long as you don't have more than 4 crew members over the wall. So in NASCAR, you usually have 6 guys over the wall for when you do regular pit stops. But that number is reduced when you have red flags, and you only can have 4 crew members over the wall. So it's sort of a compromise, because in NASCAR you can't work under a red flag at all. And in here you can, but you don't have as many crew members to help you. So it usually takes slower to complete a task. And if you have a short red flag that's like 5 minutes, then you won't be able to get as much work done. But if you have a long red flag like that, then you have some time to essentially get yourself going and get yourself, working. Now, that does not apply to rain delays. Rain delay red flags or weather delays, they do not have that rule. You cannot work under your car because you're not damaged. And even if you're undamaged and you're not working on repairs, when it's a red flag in any circumstance, if your car is undamaged, you cannot go into the garage and work on it there. You have to work on it on pit lane with what you have, because for all we know, you could just go into the garage, take out your regular car, put in a backup car that's completely fine and faster, and go with that. Speaking of the, look at this this view of the grandstands. I love that view of the grandstands. I mean, that is a lot of people. It's incredible. Lap number 20 coming this time by. Believe the pace lights are still going to be on. Nope, pace lights are off. We're going green next time by. There's that 99 who's going to be lining up on the inside of Riley Wedge because she's a lap down because she got black flagged on the restart. Just an overall insane race, but I don't even know if I went through my entire recap. So Purab Srivastava wrecked a bunch of cars on lap number 6 after that. And then we had our long red flag, then we went back under green, and then Creed Daniel is blowing up. Well, there you go. Pacific Racing had a problem of a lot of blown engines last year. Well, guess what? He just blew another one. And now he's no longer smoking in the car, but he's not speeding up. Well then. He's probably going to have a lot of cars end up passing him. But he's not... Oh, now his car's smoking again. So his car's like on and off. It was smoking, now it wasn't, and now it is again. Really weird situation, but he was in third when we were about to go green. And now it's no longer. I mean, he's still smoking pretty bad up there. I wonder if we're even going to be able to go green with him still on the racetrack. That might be a problem. That might be an issue for us to go green. MSCCT officials, though, I'm sure will sort it out. I mean, it's a long way until they get to the backstretch, and he can always go to the inside, but he's not slowing up at all, or he's not speeding up. Riley Wedge is your leader on lap number 20, looking for his first career win. We're going to go green on lap number 21 as the uncertainty of Creed Daniel on the racetrack with a blown engine. Pace car makes his turn. We're going to go green. Here we are, green flag. Let's take a look again. Is that 85 still... okay, now the 65 is on pit lane. Did he even... I see what he did. So he stopped on the track and then he was transported to pit lane. Okay. That makes a little more sense, as the 85 is getting some help from the 87 of Jacob Thibodeau. And John McFadden trying to get a good run and take the lead. Of course, there's last year's winner, Dan Wilkins, really falling back because he has some damage on his right side. Once he goes into 3, you'll be able to see it on camera a little bit better. But that's mostly because of the fact that he was involved in a crash with Sarah Fang, and that's what sparked it. World Ultrip is in 30 seconds, so don't let your eyes deceive you. If a caution comes out soon, she'll get her lap back. But here comes Eli Sasak getting help from the inside line. Going to try to take the lead away. But Nielsen is going to try to peek to that inside line. Going into 3, they're getting really tight up there. Daltrip back a lap down again, and Kyle Driscoll, who didn't win last year, is going to try to get another shot again. Back to the line, 3 by 3. Nielsen gets the advantage. By 2/100th of a second. That was a close one. Or actually 1/100th of a second. Wow. Nielsen, her back bumper is essentially getting attacked by Kyle Driscoll right now. View of the pack behind her. She's got to hold off a lot of different lanes because she's all by herself, so she has to protect the inside, middle, and the outside, and it's not going to happen, really. Is there 3 by 3 all the way back? She's going to lose the lead, and it looks like Kyle Driscoll is going to take that lead. Oh! Kyle Driscoll was spinning a little bit there. Nelson Reeves tried hooking him. He sent him a little bit loose. He did his little dancey dance, and now he's back in front, even after getting extremely loose off the corner. Nelson Reeves, he also has not won a race in his career here. And he basically just went below the yellow line. He is all over the 80 car. What in the world is Reeves doing? He's usually not this aggressive of a driver, but hey, I guess anything can happen at Daytona. Here's Jacob Thibodeau on the outside, trying to fight with Kyle Driscoll. This is a real showdown, what we got here. Thibodeau controlling that outside line with the help of the two one-timers, Sasak and Fasano. And now Thibodeau's essentially all by himself. Kyle Driscoll trying to chase him down. Here comes Yuri Nihimi on the inside of Armin Salvador. They're 4 wide going into the tri-oval. Salvador and Reeves make contact. They're slamming their doors into each other. This can't end well. They're going to go 4 wide into turn number 1. And now Nelson Reeves backs off to avoid a crash. Although that might not be enough. Oh, Sasak got really loose. And he slams the outside wall. And we stay green. I'm sure Sasak wants a caution, but he's not going to get it. He slammed the outside wall. Unless there's enough debris on the track to warrant a caution, I don't think we're going to get one. As they're still... Oh, man. This is 4 wide in the tri-oval. It's going to reduce to 3. And Nahimi just beat out Kyle Driscoll by less than 1/100th of a second. How close was that, you might ask? Let's see. 1/1000th of a second. That is incredible. Man, that's insane. I want to take a look at what happened to Sasak, but I'm afraid that if I even look away from my computer screen, that there's going to be an accident, and I'm going to have to save face. Here comes Zay Williams on the inside. As the former teammates, the 92 and the 19, Adama and Buck, they used to be team owners together. Now they're separated. But they're still going to work together. They're still mutualistic. Yuri Nihimi leads lap number 28. Excuse me, lap number 27. Hunter Walker. Oh, Donna Wilkins gets loose. Nelson Reeves all over the 13's back bumper. She eventually saves it. Alright, we're just going to go back and take a look at what happened to Sasak, since this is obviously not normal. You can see there's all of his damage. Let's take a look. We go back here. Yeah, here we go. So, it looks like Fasano was wiggling Sasak a little bit, and then sends him loose, and then he overcorrects and gets into the wall. That's the gist of what happened. That's the gist of what happened to Sasak. Now Nahimi gonna get some help from Zay Williams. This is a la 2011 Daytona 500. We got the tandem drafting going on here in the middle of the race. Oh, and Adama gets loose. Richard Birmingham tried to spin him a little bit. Everybody's fighting everybody, and nobody wins. As now Santiago Alvarez having some trouble. He's losing the draft. That's what's happening. He's losing the draft. This is insanity. But the 10 car of Nelson Reeves has been extremely aggressive on track. It's getting a little bit dicey. It's getting a little bit crazy. And frankly, I don't care for it, but be what you want to be. He's usually not this aggressive. So that doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. And now Richard Birmingham is fighting with the 92. I can imagine pit road's going to be really fun for those fans with the pit access after this race. Look at Ian Korab with the slingshot. He was just about ready to go around the 23 and the 19 at the same time, and he's going to get some help from John McFadden, as Jacob Thibodeau also getting a really good run on the back. Without any real draft help, too, Williams and Nahimi, they might be in trouble. 87 and the 80, they're going to try to help each other out, Thibodeau and Driscoll. Headed back to stripe. Lap number 30 goes to Thibodeau, as even he got a little bit loose trying to not get spun out by Driscoll. Now he migrates to the top line, going into turn number 1. Man, this is really getting dicey. Here comes two-time winner Ian Korob going to that inside line, trying to take the lead. He has a win on a plate race before on a super speedway. He won the second Talladega race, or the second season Talladega race. The book's $1,500,000. Going into 3. He's got a shot. I mean, he won Bristol this year, and then won at Talladega. He won races 10 and 12 and then didn't win again. I just find that kind of ironic. They're 3 wide all the way back. Korob leads lap number 31. And now with the red flag, you know, you wonder how the pit window is going to look. Does it go to lap number 40? Does it go to lap 45? I don't know. Brandon Allen now coming into the picture and getting hooked by Amelia Nielsen. Why is everyone so aggressive? Why is everyone racing like it's the last lap when we still have at least 30 laps to go? I think we actually have, yeah, we've 29 laps to go this time by. So, still, my point still stands that why is everybody racing like they're trying to fight to the death? This is eventually going to accumulate into an absolute disaster. That's what I feel like is going to happen. Allen running the middle line. He leads lap number 32. Again, really close, but Amelia Nielsen and Ian Korob to his inside and outside. Really swallow him up there. I mean, Allen, the native of Milton, West Virginia. Oh, Nielsen comes up and blocks the 70. He's trying to block both lanes now. My goodness. It's insanity. And now you got the two unusual manufacturers going at it. Wedge and a Pontiac in Birmingham and a Mercedes. They're going to be 4 wide again. Wedge. Oh, look at this. 4 wide in the tri-oval. Birmingham, Wedge, Allen, and Nielsen all going at it. They're 4 wide at the front. There's no... Don't tell me Salvador is going to try to make it 5. You can't make it 5. You can't run 5 wide racing anywhere unless you're at some sort of fantasy land. That doesn't work. They're 4 wide still. Wedge getting help from Walker, and same with Allen. Talk about great racing here. 4 wide racing, and we might even go 4 wide in the second row too. Nielsen, Korob, Walker, and Salvador. Now Salvador is going to make that 4th car on the bottom on lap number 35. Birmingham in the lead. That number 69 Mercedes. It's got a very nice car. Pun intended. Korob jammed. And are they going to spin? Do they all save it? They all save it. How the heck do you do that? I mean, they all looked like they were going to crash in a moment's notice, but I guess that's a warning to the drivers. Hey, maybe it's not the brightest idea to run 4 wide and then try to make it 5 in one of those corners. At Talladega, you have room for 5 cars. At Daytona, no, you don't. The track is a lot thinner for the yellow line on that bottom. It's very thin compared to how it is at Talladega because it's a lot more wide. You got a lot more space, and even then you don't have enough. So here's Logan Williams leading for the first time today. He pitted on the restart after the red flag. Looks like Fasano's got some damage from when he was hit. So now they're not 3 wide anymore. They're not 4 wide anymore. They're 3 wide all the way back. Williams with a bit of a cushion, and Brendan Wilmington is going to pit lane on lap number 36. Williams leads. Salvador in 2nd, Walker in 3rd, Birmingham in 4th, Fasano in 5th. And at this time, we do have 30 cars on the racetrack. 31 on the racetrack, 30 on the lead lap. And a bunch of cars are retired, including Creed Daniel and Sarah Feng from recently. On our Walker, getting some help from Nielsen, although, let's see, does anybody else bite for pit lane? Nobody does. So I think Wilmington was just sort of a lone figure, and now Sasak is on pit lane getting some work done. Nielsen trying to... Oh, Korob gets sent loose. He's below the yellow line. He's going to come back up, and we're going to see a big crash in turn number 1. Ryan Adema, Kyle Driscoll, Daniel Rivera on his side. Carlos Rex, Sam Joseph, Nelson Reeves. And that's how we bring out our third caution. Gonna watch the race back to the line, and we'll take a look at some replays. Looks like Williams got it in the bag, but and Wilmington is completely fine. He's just having to get by the cars that were wrecked. And Logan Williams leads lap number 38. Okay, so interesting scene from that one, as what we saw coming off of the tri-oval and going into turn number 1 is that we saw Ian Korob get sent below the yellow line. In fact, pretty emphatically. Let's take a look. So they're all bunched in here. And the 04 of Zay Williams essentially pushes into the 91 of Nahimi, who in turn sends the 07 of Korob. Then coming back up the track. And, yep, just hooks the 91. There goes Kyle Driscoll, Ryan Adema, Daniel Rivera. If we go back to Rivera on our cameras here. See if we can go back here. You can see gets slammed by Carlos Rex and then drilled by Galvin on his side there. Doesn't actually flip. There's Sam Joseph, Adeline Galvin. There's Adema again. I'm going to try to look at some onboard cameras, but if they don't work, then I'm kind of screwed here. I'm going to try to look from the 07 car of Ian Korob, but if it eventually goes to black, then it's not going to be good. So he gets sent below the yellow line right there. And actually, the 07 of Korob is fine. He's fine. It's the cars behind him that are messed up. That being said, let's take a look at last year's champion, Ryan Adema. Started last because of the qualifying system, and now most likely out of the race after being in 16th. Let's take a look. Really, the only damage that he comes off with is some front-end damage, but at the end of the day, that could make or break his time. And now the 10 car of Nelson Reeves, we're going to take a look at his cockpit. He was running pretty far behind in 25th, but we should still take a gander at it. There's that number 10 Camry. And then last but not least, we're going to take a look at the number 20 car of Daniel Rivera, who had an absolute hard lick. And he was at the back of this main pack here, but still just kind of worth taking a look at what we see from his cockpit camera. Let's take a look. We went black. Take number 3? Yeah, that sounds good. We are back from Daytona International Speedway. We're going to be going green on lap number 40 out of 60 in the American Airlines 500 after going under the second red flag today after Daniel Rivera got absolutely just blasted by Kyle Driscoll, and also with the let's see. I mean, I gotta think of other cars that were taken out as a result of that crash. It was Carlos Rex, Ryan Adema, Nolo Hamilton, among others. It's the second red flag we've had today, and it lasted this time only about 20 minutes, so the pace car will be off on lap number 40. Oh boy. Third time's the charm, isn't it? Riley Wedge and Sam Joseph running 1-2. We have a green flag. Again. Oh my goodness. I don't know if I'm ever going to run this track again. Look at Brendan Wilmington already making a good run. With the help of Thibodeau. Merrill Daltrip did get her lap back. So she's at the rear of the field now. Brendan Wilmington getting the help of Jacob Thibodeau. And it looks like 13 and the 9 are going to work together. They're 3 wide all the way through now. For the most part, they're all 3 wide. Look at that 13 UPS Ford. Donald Wilkins trying to make a move through the middle. And almost got blocked by Brendan Wilmington, but it didn't go. And Sasak pushes the 13 up the track to the middle line. Excuse me. Now they've got 3 wide all the way back. This is like the snake slithering through the through the field. Now Eli's getting help from Jackson Snyder. We got some cars scraping the wall. I believe that was the 85 who hit the wall a little bit. Wow, that was really close. I think the 87 got that one by 1/100th of a second. Yeah, talk about a close one. Jackson Snyder, the native of Woodward, Oklahoma, he's going to take the lead with that Oklahoma Sooners car. I know some folks who are Oklahoma fans. I know some people who are Alabama fans. Personally, I'm a Syracuse fan, but hey, what can I do? I mean, we're going to be last in the ACC anyway when it comes to football. Can't help it. Brandon Allen now coming in on the inside. And speaking of sports teams, we have a few different teams sponsoring different MSCCT drivers for certain races this year, as John Reese almost hooked the 70 of Brandon Allen. But John Reese is getting sponsored full-time by the New York Yankees and the Somerset Patriots on his on his rear quarter panels and on the deck lid. And then for a few schemes this season, Dan Wilkins will be running a Philadelphia Phillies paint job. And then for another few races this season, Eli Sasak in the 9 for the lower level will be running a New York Mets car. So it's pretty interesting here, as John Reese is in first now, although Richard Birmingham's giving him a good run. They're 4 wide again. Alert, alert, they're 4 wide again. Snyder, Allen, Birmingham, and Korob all at it. McFadden coming into the picture. Logan Williams trying to push Korob, who was involved in an accident, and now we have another accident. Big crash off of 4. Yuri Nihimi, John Reese, Hunter Walker, Riley Wedge, Will Fasano involved. Brennan Wilmington with a hard hit. And it looks like Ian Korob is back to the front after being involved in one of the earlier accidents. That was interesting, and now they're all pushing each other. I mean, what in the Lord's name is happening here? I mean, come on. This is at least the 3rd or 4th big one that we've had today. And if we take a look at what happened, then it'll be pretty clear. With the 24 cars that are left in this race, I wouldn't be surprised if it was all one thing. Because you can see they're running up here, then they're running 4 wide back here. 4 wide. That's not good. You could see... Oh, okay, so the 16 of Alvarez hooks the 11 of Snyder, and then that, in turn, gets Jesse Owens Jr., gets John Reese. There's Yuri Nihimi. Looks like Sam Joseph gets through it pretty well. And as we're going along here, there's Nahimi spinning, and then John Reese. Does he catch the 4? Yeah, he does, kind of. He gets a little bit of damage on him. And then Brennan Wilmington gets a little bit of damage there. If we can, without absolutely destroying ourselves, let's take a look at the number 11 of Jackson Snyder, excuse me. See if this crashes the game or not for a 4th time. And for the sake of saving ourselves, we're only going to be looking at one other roof camera, which is the number... where can I find it? Where is it? The 91 of Yuri Nahimi. There it is. So for the 5th today, we're under caution with 15 laps to go in the American Airlines 500. Absolutely insane how it's been going on today. You know, I think it's better to have somewhat of a wreckfest than to have a... what's it called? I don't know. It's better to have a wreckfest than to have a race of like 100 laps of absolutely nothing. I think that's better. But that's just me, because some people do like the absolutely boring races, or races with good battles that don't have a lot of wrecking. And trust me, none of the drivers have to... none of the drivers have to go into a track and say, I'm gonna finish the race, because at this rate, we have Sam Joseph, who's out. Apparently Sam Joseph had enough damage for him to go to the garage. Hunter Walker's out. Will Fasano's out. There's probably going to be a few more out. I wouldn't be surprised if Nahimi went out. But when you look at a race like this, especially at Daytona, the amount of big ones that we've seen is, quite frankly, it's not discouraging. It might be a little discouraging to the drivers who are going to be starting the season on a really bad note. But for all intents and purposes, I think we're good. Because right now, we do have a chance for a little bit of an upset. Ian Korob could be going for a 3rd career win, his 2nd at a plate track. Richard Birmingham could go for his 2nd career American Airlines 500 win, since he won in Season 1, and he's one of the few drivers remaining from Season 1, including Jay Bird, Santiago Alvarez, and Dan Wilkins. So he's running in 2nd. And then you have a few rookies back here. Logan Williams, John McFadden, Brandon Allen. They're all rookies. Then your Season 2 winner, Dan Wilkins. He's in 6th right now. And what can I say? That could be his 2nd career win too. Or his 2nd win at Daytona. He has 3 career wins. He won the first ever Coca-Cola 600 in Season 1. And then he won both Daytona races. The one in race number race number 1, and then race number 25, which was the last regular season race prior to the Champions Lottery. He won that one too, and that was when he was running a Dodge. That was when he was running the number 77 car before he switched to the number 00 in the Ford. He could do it again. He could win his 3rd straight Daytona event. And that would be a pretty darn good accomplishment if he does that. Then you have Charlotte Kelly in 7th, who's a rookie. Her teammate and team owner, Brandon Allen, is just 2 positions ahead. They can work together for the last 10 laps. And then you have Amelia Nielsen, who's with a top-tier team looking for their 1st career win as a team, not just as a owner-driver, as a team. Jesse Owens Jr., another rookie, in 9th. Chase Buck, one-time winner. He won at Atlanta. He's in 10th. Zay Williams, another rookie, in 11th. Eli Sasak, running 1 race this season and 1 race only at Daytona. And then you have 13 of Donna Wilkins, another rookie for a good team, in 13th, in the number 13. Jacob Thibodeau almost made the Champions Lottery, but just fell short. He's in 14th, still looking for his 1st career win. And you have Santiago Alvarez, two-time career winner, in 15th. And you have Brennan Wilmington, still looking for his first career win, in 16th. Yuri Nihimi, a rookie, in 17th, but she does have a little bit of damage. Same thing with Riley Wedge, looking for his first career win. World Daltrip and John Reese, Jackson Snyder, all looking for their first career win. But those pace lights are off. You know what that means. We're going green next time by, hopefully for the last time, because honestly, a wreckfest like this, you want a good finish. And that's exactly what I think is going to happen. So your top 10, I know I had mentioned it before, but I'm just going to speed run through it. Ian Korop, Richard Birmingham, I almost said Dan Wilkins. I used to drive the 77, so now I get perplexed whenever I see a 77 car. Logan Williams in the 77, followed by John McFadden, Brandon Allen. Then you have Dan Wilkins in the number 6 position, and then the number 00 car. Charlotte Kelly in 7th, Amelia Nielsen in 8th, Jesse Owens Jr. and Chase Buck rounding out the top 10. So, oh boy. Talk about the potential for an exciting finish. We currently have 21 cars on track. It's actually exactly half the field that we started with. This time by, 12 laps to go. The yellow flag has changed to green. We're back underway, and Logan Williams jumps to the high side immediately. I guess they're going to need a little while to get their tires back warm and get back going, so I won't be surprised if we end up running with that. Look at John McFadden. Everybody's trying to find their place. It'll eventually go into pack racing, in my opinion. I think it will go into pack racing eventually. But John McFadden has to find his place. Brandon Allen has to find his place. Going into 3, they're going to make it 3 wide. Korob's got to hold off some other drivers. There's Birmingham on the high side. Williams is going to try to push him a little bit. And Brennan Wilmington almost got wrecked, but he saves it. He's going to lose a few spots. I mean, he's got no front hood on that car. So do you really expect him to be all the way up there? Let's take a look. Pretty cut and dry. Riley Wedge just turns him a little bit. He's able to save it, but he's going to be some lap traffic probably. Here's Dan Wilkins getting help from Zay Williams, and then on that middle line, there's Amelia Nielsen getting help from Charlotte Kelly. Going into 3, looks like McFadden and Birmingham on the high side, Kelly and Williams on the middle, and then Wilkins and Williams on the inside. Brandon Allen got a little bit loose, but he's fighting for that position. He's jockeying for that position. He's in 3rd. With now 10 laps to go in the American Airlines 500. You know, we started this race at 2 p.m. Eastern Time, and now it's 4:30 p.m. as we've had so many delays in this event that it's ran over 2.5 hours. Brandon Allen falling back a little bit as he loses a bit of his draft. Oh, and Amelia Nielsen made contact with Korob. She's going to force him out of the lead. Charlotte Kelly going to the inside with help from Wilkins and Birmingham. The 2 previous winners of the American Airlines 500 are back in front. I shouldn't say they're back in front. They're still running inside the top 10, but they're in contention. We could have a chance for our first ever multi-time American Airlines 500 winner. That's not a guarantee, though, as look at this behind him. Look at this behind Nielsen. Wilkins had to get forced up into the top line, as it looks like Donna Wilkins is falling back a little bit. She's in 11th right now. She told me before the race that she wants a top 10. Might have not gotten it today. However, it's pretty darn close after starting 7th. Nielsen's got a good lead. We'll see how good that lead is after this lap, and we'll see how long it takes to evaporate. 8 to go. She leads by 1/4 of a second over Wilkins and Williams. Over Logan Williams, I should say, since I kind of just had that light bulb moment that, hey, there's 2 Williams on the track, Logan and Zay. Not related to each other. In fact, they don't even live in the same state. Logan Williams, a native of Savannah, Georgia, and then the 04 of Zay Williams, who is a native of Charlotte, North Carolina. Logan Williams in second. Birmingham sort of keeps him on his high side as he tries to go low. This has the potential of getting really dicey, but I gotta say, this is probably has the potential of being a better finish than what we saw in years past, as they might go 4 wide again. Oh, they almost did, but Wilkins backed off, and now he's falling back again. Well, see, I think John Reese is running really slow. 167 miles an hour. This lap time is a 53.287. That is not that fast. He's going into turn 1 now. I think by the end of the race, we're going to have John Reese caught up in the lead pack. That is very well possible. 6 to go. Ian Korob trying to get a help from Birmingham in the number 69 Mercedes. Charlotte Kelly moving from that inside line to the middle line. Now they're a little bit single file, but I don't think that it'll actually stay that way, as Nielsen is going to try to get a push from Korob. This might be a sort of tandem drafting situation, as Kelly got loose again. Oh, here we go with the slingshot. Korob to the inside, side by side to the line. Really close there, but Nielsen holds off Korob just for now, though. This all could change in the next 5 laps, because we got 5 to go at Daytona. Korob takes the lead, looking for his 3rd career win, the native of Calabasas, California. As if we have another caution, we might require a green-white checkered, but I don't see it actually happening. But hey, Daytona has lights. You know that from the previous events that we've held under the lights here. So why should I be surprised? Into the tri-oval, they're all sort of recoiled back together. Nielsen holds the lead. Korob had the lead for about most of turns 1 and 2, but couldn't hold on to it. As now everybody's just trying to pass Amelia Nielsen. Everybody's just trying to pass her. Where is John Reese in all of this, you might ask? He's on the backstretch. Look at this. Look at them behind him. I mean, wow. That's a pack of, I'd say, at least 10 cars. Yeah, it's exactly 10 cars that are creeping up on that number 02 of John Reese. He might come back into the picture again. There he is on the bottom left of your screen. So he's back at it. Side by side to the line. Really close, but I think Korob led that one by 1/1000th of a second, or 1/100th of a second. 3 to go. Nielsen gets held up. Nielsen gets held up by Reese, and now Nielsen's got to go all the way to the bottom line. I think that might have just spelled the end of Amelia Nielsen's contention run, since that just split up the pack. John Reese is going 176 miles an hour. That is 15 miles per hour slower than the rest of the pack. Now McFadden's back in front. Here comes Brandon Allen with the help of Dan Wilkins. Now it's only about 5 cars that are competitive. That literally split the pack in half. Oh my goodness. Here comes Wilkins to the inside. 2 laps to go. We're 3 wide. Your top 5, McFadden, Allen, Wilkins, Korob, and Williams. Now Logan Williams is back in 9th and pretty far off the pace. Now Dan Wilkins in the lead, looking for his fourth career win. This would tie the all-time wins record. I know it's a low number, but keep in mind, we're in our 3rd season, so you got to give us a little bit of a break here. If he wins this one, he'll be tied for the win record all time, and it'll be his 3rd straight win at Daytona. He's proven that he's absolutely incredible at this track. Can he do it again, or will his teammate Ian Korob take it this year? Coming back to the stripe, white flag, 1 more lap to go, 2.5 more miles at Daytona until we see the checkered flag in the winner. Wilkins and Korob, they're 2 teammates, and they're running side by side. But John McFadden, Amelia Nielsen is back into the picture. Amelia could still win this thing. McFadden on the inside, getting help from Nielsen. She's got to go from 5th to 1st in order for this to happen. I don't know if it will happen because Korob is starting to run away with it. Brandon Allen might be the last gasp. Korob's got a really big lead unless something really weird happens. Then I don't see anything changing. Coming off of turn number 4, Ian Korob wins another plate race, and it's the crown jewel this time. Ian Korob wins the American Airlines 500. Brandon Allen 2nd, John McFadden 3rd, Dan Wilkins 4th, as Dan Wilkins Racing picks up their 3rd career win at Daytona, and their 3rd in a row, in fact, because Dan Wilkins swept the Daytona events last season, and now his teammate, Ian Korob, the native of Calabasas, California, will go to victory lane for the 3rd time in his career. Your top 10 is as follows: Korob, Allen, McFadden, Wilkins, Amelia Nielsen, Zay Williams, Logan Williams back-to-back, Charlotte Kelly, Chase Buck, and Richard Birmingham in 10th. This has been Dan Wilkins, your play-by-play commentator for the Modern Stock Car Cup Tour. Ian Korob takes home his 3rd career win, and this time it's at the crown jewel of all MSCCT races. I'm signing off for now. We'll see you next time at the Royal Caribbean 400 at Homestead Miami Speedway.